There's a certain poetry to energy, the way it flows, transforms, and powers our lives. Yet beneath this poetry, the pulse of global energy systems often reveal an inefficiency, a disconnect, a struggle between what serves profit and what serves people. This tension is the story of our time, and the choices we make now will shape the lives of billions. I'm Mark Roach, founder of FutureWise Energy, and today I'd like to strip away the noise and uncover where we stand, where we fall short, and where we can rise. First, the foundation. The latest data shows that global energy demand reached historic peaks in 2024, 592 exajoules, up 2% from the previous year. Asia Pacific, long the engine of global growth, accounted for a staggering 68% of that increase. It's clear that our energy systems are expanding, but this is only telling us part of the story because alongside it, energy-related carbon emissions also hit a record high of 40.8 gigatons. China and India alone drove 62% of this increase. While renewables surged ahead, solar and wind grew by 16% and battery storage more than doubled. Coal still stubbornly supplies lifeblood to many regions of the world, especially in Asia, the Asia Pacific, where it accounts for 83% of demand. But what does this industrial ballet mean for us as individuals, as communities, as human beings? Growth numbers and technical milestones don't warm homes, they don't feed families, and they don't elevate lives in meaningful ways. We can do better. Well, we must do better. I founded FutureWise Energy on the belief that energy should be people-centered, not as a line item in corporate earnings reports, but as the fabric through which humanity weaves its progress. And I'll be the first to tell you, I've seen every corner of this industry. I've spent decades on oil rigs and boardrooms and everything in between, navigating global oil and gas basins and striking deals. I've worked in a system that prizes size, scale, and centralization, but as someone who stood apart from the good old boy network, I've always seen the cracks. The Schumacher philosophy of small is beautiful, economics as if people mattered, resonates deeply now with me more than ever. Because here's the truth. The global energy transition isn't about flipping a switch from fossil fuels to renewables. It's about creating systems that are resilient, adaptive, and human-scaled. It's about breaking old habits that concentrate power in the hands of a few and decentralizing solutions so that energy serves communities, people, not the other way around. Take renewables, the poster child of energy transition. Wind and solar offer undeniable benefits. China, for instance, added 57% of the new global solar and wind capacity last year alone. But our rush to scale has consequences. From the intensive mining of lithium and rare earth minerals to meet these goals, to geopolitical interruptions in a critical raw material supply chain, we must rethink how behind these solutions or what's happening behind these solutions. This starts with asking critical questions. Are we building systems that can be locally maintained? Are we equipping communities with the tools to benefit directly from these technologies? Are our designs inclusive, respecting the diverse needs and limitations of every region? Look to localized innovations, microgrids, distributed generation, solar-powered water systems tailored to rural communities for inspiration. These smaller, smarter solutions are the future of energy because they're rooted in accessibility and adaptability. They reduce dependence on massive grid infrastructures that too often fail the underserved. It's not the sheer number of gigawatts installed that defines success. It's the number of lives empowered, livelihoods uplifted, and homes that are lit sustainably. And yet, we can't ignore the dogged resilience of fossil fuels. Last year, coal demands hit an all-time high, and oil is still the largest individual energy source at 34% of demand. And global natural gas production surged to 4.1 TCF. First of all, the talk of transition that we must acknowledge, the reality many face where to access any form of energy is a matter of survival. The world is an uneven playing field where OECD countries stabilize emissions while others, still industrializing, grapple with basic energy security. This raises a moral imperative. Equity in the energy transition isn't optional. If countries and companies focus exclusively on their carbon targets without helping the vulnerable, this so-called transition will leave entire populations in the dark, literally and metaphorically. The world's elite will live net zero lifestyles while others continue breathing air choked with coal dust. That's not progress, that's neglect. We must prioritize investments that bridge gaps. Take biofuels, for example, a growing but underutilized segment of the energy mix, which offers diverse local opportunities when approached sustainably. Or consider how falling cost for renewable technologies and energy storage can be leveraged to create zero-cost distributed solutions in regions like the sub-Saharan African desert and Southeast Asia. Technologies like these, applied with intention, can deliver transformation to all corners of the globe. But there's an elephant in the room no one wants to talk about, and that's complacency. After decades in this industry, one thing that I've learned is that arrogance leads to stagnation. The belief that the same strategies, just amplified, will get us across the finish line is flawed. Adaptation isn't just beneficial, it's survival. And tomorrow's leaders in energy will be those who blend technical excellence with human insight. The smartest wells, not the most wells. Systems that optimize not just output, but impact. There's a broader cultural shift that we need too. Headlines and buzzwords often mislead us. Phrases like record solar additions and net zero initiatives can cover deeper inefficiencies or mismanagement. But as professionals, as leaders, as people who live in this space, the responsibility lies in us to cut through the noise. At FutureWise Energy, that's what we strive to do, to bring together data and insight, pairing skepticism with optimism and driving home one essential point. People always come first, whether that means staffing a solar field with local labor, using regenerative farming to drive down biofuel inputs, or decentralizing systems so that energy is about agency, not control. The message is the same. Center humanity. We stand at a crossroads where the choices are stark, where rapid gains in one part of the world still contrast with deeper vulnerability in another. Where energy, for all it promises, remains distributed unfairly. But at the core of this imbalance lies opportunity, the opportunity to act decisively, remove barriers, and focus investments where they can affect the greatest, most equitable changes. The ground beneath us is unstable, yes. But that's what makes this moment so critical. Change doesn't scare us, but complacency should. Does it? The tectonic plates of energy are shifting, and what will define us is whether we rise to meet the tremors. Together we can craft an industry and a world where energy empowers, uplifts, and unites. Because at the heart of it, that's the only kind of energy that endures. I'm Mark Roach, and this is FutureWise Energy, wishing you all the best.